The court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Miguel will preside.
Order in the court.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to Toy Quest 101 Collectors Court, where the hobby holds the truth. We are gathered here tonight on the matter of Prime 1 Studios versus the community that took place June 4th of 2026 and still ongoing. Tonight, we'll be providing evidence, going over facts, and discussing both sides and leaving the jury to our viewers, you guys, the final say in this verdict. This stream represents opinions and commentary based on publicly available information and community feedback. The goal is open discussion and analysis, guys. I would like now to call the Collectors Table Congregation Representative Adam Vargas to the stand. Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Can you hear
me?
How
are you, sir?
Good.
Man, I'm excited for today. We got a nice little topic here on the Collectors Courtroom. How did you like the intro? What do you think?
I thought it was awesome.
Corny but snazzy.
I love stuff like that. So I'm all down with it, man.
Listen, so I've always wanted to do something like this, guys. So I know it's a little corny, but I always wanted to do something that we hit the facts and hit things and topics running like we are today, where you guys know that I'm not about drama. You're not going to see anytime me going at people or doing anything crazy, even in my Facebook group or in my videos or in my lives. But I always wanted to create a show where we discuss something like what we're going to discuss today and really give facts, because I see that some of the problems is that when people talk about this on their lives, they don't really have the correct information, and sometimes the incorrect information is going out there. And then there's back and forth stuff, and it just, I don't know. I just wanted to kind of do it the right way, present facts, look at everything, get opinions from other people. And at the end of the day, with all the facts out there and all the discussion and everything that we look at from both sides, we'll let our viewers kind of decide on the verdict, right? Make it fun for them, maybe in a poll or something, guilty versus innocent. But I always wanted to do that. So we are calling this the Collectors Court, where collecting holds the truth, guys. That's what it's going to be called. That's our motto. But Adam, thank you for coming on. We got another special guest. I would like to also call Representative K-Fett to the stand. My guy, K-Fett, what's up, dude?
Not much. I swore I would never be in a courthouse until they invented these body cams. I swear that's the only way I'm going to get pulled in here.
Dude, where have you been? We're excited to see you. I know you've been trying to come on to the show for a while, and you get to be on the inaugural Collectors Courtroom today. I'm excited for this pop-up show and excited to have you on, brother. How you been?
Doing good. Appreciate you having me on. Look forward to talking a little bit about this. It's going to be a hot topic, I have a feeling.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I hope. Where's the mallet? You know what's funny? I have a mallet. I have a YouTube Shorts mallet, and I forgot to grab it, but I do have one. It's made out of wood. But yeah, I got that. What's up? What's up? Nice cut. Nice cut, Adam. This is Anthony.
That's what happens when you're always on the go and you're outside, man.
Oh man. Listen, so obviously, guys, this is about collecting, but this is about a little bit of drama that's going on in the community. And this is a big one. A lot of feedback, a lot of things have changed in the past couple of days since the first announcement. As you all know, we're talking about the Prime 1 Studios announcement, right? That they made on, what was it, the 4th? They made this on the 4th, June 4th, I think it was. June 4th. And it's been going on now and going forward, right? Because it changed, what was it, yesterday? I think it changed yesterday. With this new policy about harassment and stuff.
I feel like I needed my glasses. Everybody else was wearing the glasses.
I know, right? Well, these are clear. These are not real. Not real at all. So I'm probably gonna take them off eventually because they're bothering me. But Yeah, let's dive into it. So first and foremost, I do want to say this. So I partnered up with Prime One Studios. The last time I partnered up with them was back in 2021. And my direct contact was a guy named Sai, who was awesome, by the way. This was back when my daughter was on the channel. I reviewed their QD1 series when they first came out. I did a Berserk. I did the Justice League, which I still have it, or the DC line, which I still have that one. I sold the Berserk. We did the Batman Dark Knight bust and all those minions that I had too. But he was awesome. Prime One was cool. The only couple, I think I only have a couple pieces from Prime One. I know I got the Batman there. And I do think that Prime One Studios is probably one of the best companies out there as far as statues go concerned. They're a little bit out of my price range, especially with this whole shipping situation with them, because that's a little iffy sometimes, or I would say a lot of times. I do not buy a lot from them. If I did, it would probably be through Sideshow. And like I said, it's just the shipping things. It just got me, I'm not trusting it. Aside from that, though, I think that company just puts out bangers, has probably one of the top statues in the hobby as far as amount of accessories, the base, the size, the licenses, the details. I mean, you get a lot of bang for your buck. For me, it's just that shipping is just getting out of hand. K-Fett, do you have any Prime One Studios collectibles?
Yeah, I've been back since the OG days when the Batman Arkham series started coming out. So
Nice.
Loved all those pieces, got me into it. Now my collection is kind of down to the Hush line. So
Nice.
I still have quite a bit of those at the moment. And, as Adam and a few others know, I'm into the anime scene. So there's a couple pieces from anime shows that I love that have graced my collection from Prime One. So
nice. Now back then, what was shipping back then? Just estimate. What do you think? Do you remember around
shipping back then? Oh my gosh.
I feel like it was still high back then too.
Piece, or
I felt like back then it was maybe anywhere between the $300 to $400 range or something like that. And you could order them through Sideshow though. I don't. Back in the early days, I don't ever remember directly going through Prime One. It was always a second vendor on that end. But yeah, I never thought it was that bad. Now, as you said, you get that sticker shock and you're like, man, I love that piece. How much do I love that piece though?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking now over 1K on some things.
It's
which
ridiculous.
is basically like another statue. How come no one else is just for court? I kind of threw this on them. That's the first thing Adam said when he popped on. He's like, man, I feel like I'm underdressed. I didn't tell him about the intro. I didn't tell him I did all this between last night coming up with the idea with Adam and while I was at work. Don't get me in trouble. And I did all this stuff. I did that stupid video. I was like, let me get my tie. Let's make it fun.
Yeah.
And eventually we keep going with this. These would be pop-up shows. I don't think we're gonna have, because there's not that much. I don't like touching a lot on drama, but there are certain things that I feel like we should discuss. But when that does happen, I want to kind of keep it, keep that theme going. I think it would be cool. But yeah, what's up, Blue Tattoo? S Beam in the house as well. Yeah, man, I think shipping now is like hitting over 1K on certain things. I remember when I got this Batman, it was close to 1K, but it wasn't over 1K. I think it was like, I don't know, $600 or $700. I can't remember what it was. And at that time, I was like, wow, that's a lot. But now
I try ordering alien pieces. Alien pieces are.
Well, Adam, what's the last? Thank you, Flex. I appreciate you. That's right, GQ. Adam, when's the last time you got a Prime One piece?
It's been a while. One of my last Prime Ones, I think I paid like $700 or $800 for Jungle Hunter Predator.
Nice.
That was 3 gigantic boxes. Rogue Alien was probably close to $1,000.
Oh wow!
Yes, wow, yeah.
I mean, the thing weighs like 150 pounds. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh, but that's another statue. Think about it. That's a quarter scale statue.
Yeah, but I wanted it. So
no. I'm not. Listen, guys. If anybody wants to pay that because they want to pay it because they love what they love.
Yeah, but the pricing is crazy. Yeah. You're right.
But you know, sometimes, and there's a lot of controversy with the pricing on shipping alone. If that wants to be a topic, that's another controversy piece, because a lot of people are saying they're taking advantage of, you know, world events like the tariffs and stuff. They're skimming off the top. You know, there's people who've done, like, you know, their own shipping into you know, UK or here, and finding out that the price isn't that much, and you know, the fluctuation between pieces and boxes and this and that. I don't know if there's ever been hard evidence or hard proof that they are or not, but I can tell you that those shipping prices are kind of all over the place. So it leads people to believe that. And I don't know if they're trying to negotiate with these shipping companies. I don't know how that works. But you know, their pricing on statues alone is getting high, and now with the shipping is getting even higher. These statues are starting to become, you know, very, very, very expensive, especially from Prime One Studios. So a lot of people spend a lot of money on these pieces, which is why I think there's so much feedback and so much controversy with today's topic, is because a lot of people feel that they're spending all this money, and obviously the shipping that we just talked about. And, you know, they just want to make sure that, hey, if everything goes the right way, because they're the paying customer. And this isn't like Gentle Giant or Diamond Select or, you know, smaller Iron Studio pieces. These are like the grails of statues sometimes, and they could get up there, you know, like Calvin from our show, and even Billy Rios. They just got the Batman on Throne. And that piece, the shipping on that was crazy.
It's huge.
And it's big. And you know, you could imagine somebody like that spending that type of money and something going wrong with Prime One Studios. And then obviously, you know, they get that backlash. But going forward to today, so Adam, I kind of want to talk to you about this, because we talked about this early in the morning. I actually was going to beat you to it, but I wake up at 4 and I didn't want to text you and wake you up. But talk to me about this law. The funny thing about this law, guys, and this is where this all stems from. I'm almost positive that a lot of people in the community don't know this. They think that this was something generated from Prime One Studios, and it wasn't. This was actually a law that has been in the works, I believe, since early this year, even ending last year.
I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Yeah.
This article here that I have is from February. But when you get to it, Adam, if you want to speak to the law, or even you could even read off what you sent to me in the in our chat.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah. So basically, we were doing a little bit of research. I guess, like, you know, we both woke up. I'm just guessing that we started scrolling on our phones and we saw the update that was going on, and the puzzle pieces started kind of coming together. So I saw Prime One say something about that there's a law and they're trying to follow the new law that's coming out in Japan. So the information I found is Japan has introduced a new law that will take effect October 1st, requiring employers to take active steps to protect their employees from harassment by customers, clients, and other external parties. This includes harassment through social media and other digital channels. The law defines customer harassment and mandates that companies set clear policies, establish complaint mechanisms, and respond promptly to incidents. So what I gather from that, right? I mean, I don't know how deep you want me to go into this, or if we're gonna just jump straight in, or
you go as deep as you want in there.
Okay. Pause. So what it looks like to me, right? That they had this initial, well, let's take a step back for a second. There's obviously it's safe to say that there's probably a big problem that Japan is encountering with harassments and threats and different kind of hostile situations through the internet. The internet's already, everybody on the internet's already assholes, right? Everybody's toxic. Brutal on the internet, right?
Toxic. Yep.
Yeah, very toxic. And I think society likes that to a degree. They enjoy the toxicity of it. But going back to like why Japan's coming up with this law, let's just use a little bit of logic. It's probably because they're encountering so much of this, not just from Prime One Studios, but across the board over social media platforms, like they said, right? So maybe Prime One is taking this opportunity because let's take the brand new collector, right? Never ordered from Prime One. You know nothing about statues. You order a statue. It comes in broken. You just spent $1,500, $2,000 on just the statue itself. And now you have a broken statue. Say the leg snapped, right? Or whatever. There was a broken piece. Somebody that doesn't collect statues, even the guys that do, they don't expect something like that. And if you don't expect something like that, you're going to be pretty pissed off, right? You're going to be very pissed off. Now, with seasoned collectors like you and K-Fett and a lot of other guys that watch this and just collect, you just got to understand. We almost understand. Most of us understand it comes with the territory. Unfortunately, you're going to get breakages. It's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? But to somebody that doesn't handle it the same way as somebody else, let me give you an example. You have a store. Let's just say K-Fett has a store. I walk into his store, I buy something, and it breaks. Let's just say I bought a car from him. The next day, something happened. The engine is skipping or stuttering or something, like a transmission issue. I come back in. I can handle it one or two ways. I can have a conversation with K-Fett as management or an owner or whatever and say, look, man, I know you can't always control these situations sometimes. There's a lot of moving mechanical parts in these cars, but can you help me out? The second way I can come in is I can curse him out. I could be pissed. I could throw a chair. I can get super pissed off at him and just start just blaming him for everything. Let's think how that's going to go, right? Which situation are you thinking is going to give you a harder time? Now, here's the thing. Guys in our statue community, because I've been collecting statues for a long time now, as you guys have, they could be brutal too, man. We can be very brutal. Now, that being said, it's still the responsibility of K-Fett in this situation, right? That sold me the car that's kind of jacked up, for example, to handle that tactfully. What do I mean by tactfully? I mean by, hey, you know what, Adam? I understand the situation. Look, we could spend 8 hours a day. Say if it's a used car. We could spend 8 hours looking at this with a mechanic. You could pull out of here going down the highway, and something just happens, and it just happens that way. It breaks. There's so many moving parts. I'll tell you what I'll do. This, and this, or I'll try to help you the best way I can. The way for K-Fett not to handle that is to say, well, fuck you. You bought it.
It's off the lot.
It's off the lot, buddy.
It's yours now.
See you later. But you guys get my point?
Yeah.
It goes both ways for sure, right? It goes both ways for sure. Obviously, I think in this situation, I don't want to be too long-winded, but obviously in this situation, I think collectors can be very brutal, but at the same time, I have a business. I don't believe in the philosophy that the customer is always right. I just don't. They're not. They're not always right. If they were always right, you'd be out of fucking business. At the same time, I want to handle it accordingly, right? I want to handle it in a way that's going to help me out. If I go into I keep using K-Fett as an example, but if I go into K-Fett's dealership and I'm cursing his employees out and I'm cursing him out, what do you think he's going to do? It doesn't matter if it's online or if it's in a store or whatever. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to say, you know what, sir? Hang on a second. If you want to stay here, you can't talk that way. I'm trying to help you out. But if you're going to handle it that way, I'm just not going to serve you. And you're going to be on your own. So we can either calm down and talk about this peacefully and try to figure it out together, or you just can't stay here anymore, because I'm not going to tolerate you talking to my employees that way. That's normal practice.
Yeah.
Right? Now, at the same time, he has a responsibility to try to make it right, but he doesn't have to give me a brand new engine. He doesn't have to do all these things, especially if I'm demanding them. But within reason. Within reason is the best way to handle it. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of touch on that. Obviously, there's some kind of situation where it became bad enough. Think about the last statue. I'm sure you guys got a statue in that has broken once or twice. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you handle it? You're not going to just, first off, you can't just send, it's not easy for statues where you just send a whole replacement leg. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. We understand when you buy a statue that there's going to come, you're taking the chance of getting damages and there's a chance of not getting something back or whatever. Now, the company shouldn't be like, well, fuck you, I don't have to do anything. They shouldn't take that attitude either, because now you're just putting fuel on the fire. But I think Prime One, to get to the point, I think Prime One took this opportunity with this new law that came out, and say if your statue broke, now times that by however many statues they sell a year, and the same guy at customer service, probably the same 3 people that are dealing with the same bullshit every day, and they finally got this law, and they're like, man, you know what? It's about fucking time. I'm about to give it to these fools. And that's
he
what
was
happened.
waiting. He was waiting.
But that's what it looks like to me. It looks like they got badgered so much that they were probably just like, you know what? We don't got to take this shit anymore.
Yeah.
We ain't got to take this shit anymore.
Well, I do want to ask this before,
go ahead.
before we go down that rabbit hole. But real quick, let me just Ghetto Yoda, what's up? Saying that I'm protecting Trump. What's up? Justin McFly, Rents Talentino. Listen, so I got 3 questions before we jump into what actually happened. Because right now we discussed the law, right? This is a law that's happening, whether we like it or not. This is not something Prime One Studios made up. This is not anything like that. This is happening, right? So the first thing I want to kind of touch on before we jump into the whole, Prime One situation, right, is the culture behind Japan. So I just want to make this very, I don't know how many people been to Japan. I don't know how many people have friends that are Japanese. I don't know how many Bruce Lee movies anybody has seen or anything like that. But guys, the culture in Japan is a lot different than the culture here in America. And that's not necessarily a bad or good thing. It's just a lot different over there. They're more mannerly. There's a lot of things that they do out of respect and honor and so forth and so forth. I'm sure not everybody's like that, but I don't even think you're allowed to tip out there either, right? Is that a thing?
So in the Asian community, tipping is considered almost like an insult. Like they don't take it the same way we do in the United States. Yeah.
Right. So for them to come out with this law goes back to what I think Adam is saying, that I think that because of social media, because of the way the world's changing, because of world events, because of racism, because of war. I mean, there's so many politics. There's so many different ways that this could have happened. And I think it's a little bit of everything all in one. And I think now, there's just a lot of people just getting hounded online. Or maybe sometimes even in person with tourists. I don't, it has to stem from multiple places. I don't think it just comes from one. And I think it's happening like Adam said a lot, because for them to come out with a law like this, it's just they're not trying to have it. They're not trying to, I guess, do away with the culture and the mannerisms that they have over there by allowing something like this to happen. So I feel like they're kind of nipping this at the butt. Does that make sense? They're trying to kind of we got to stop this. This is not the norm for us. It could be the norm somewhere else, but here we can't make it like this, because this is not how people should act. Right. My second thing, collecting over the years. Have you guys, and I'm going to go to K-Fett with this one, collecting over the years, do you think that the hobby and collecting has gotten better or worse as far as people, as far as just everything as a whole? the toxicity, the hobby itself, obviously pricing, everything. Like, do you feel like it was better before? Like, was it more fun before? Like, was it less drama? Like, obviously there's a lot more things that contribute to that, and that's a pretty big, realm of a statement. But where do you see collecting in the past compared to now? Do you think it's better or worse?
Well, in the past, it was a smaller community initially, and you had those fans that, and when it first came out, a $500 statue was considered a very expensive purchase at that time, and so you had a select group that was paying for this, that was passionate, who was excited about it. You didn't have a lot of options either, so it felt just like a closer knit group at the beginning. But then as it got bigger, one of the good things is we got more options. We got better quality pieces in the future. But you did start bringing in a lot more entitlement. And unfortunately, like most hobbies, you brought in people who strictly looked at this as a business. They were, scalping. They were grabbing these things and running up the prices out on the market. So that part of it you hated, where before in the early days, you celebrated when your fellow friends got the grail piece or something that was hard to obtain. And now it's a little bit harder. It's more of a business. And of course, now at the cost, it's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. So that flares tempers even worse. So I think it has gotten a lot more toxic. We don't celebrate. It's almost like out of jealousy, and people just kind of pick on people sometimes for the pieces they like. I've heard plenty of collectors on their channels just go, hey, collect what you like. And I mean, we try to rally around that, but I don't think that's held outside of just our community when you get into the bigger community of the hobby.
Yeah, no, that's really well said. And here, Justin saying this whole world could use a break check. Just being respectful and positive just helps in life 100%. I agree with that. And the only reason why I'm asking this, K-Fett and Adam and everybody else who's watching, is because let's just put this on the parking lot, right? Let's just put this whole Prime on this law, put in the parking lot. Let's just forget about this. Every Friday, I usually come on to the show and we start talking about collectibles. We start talking about statues. We'll start talking about movies, things like that. The toxicity level on just, if you look at movie reviews, if you look at, the whole situation with Star Wars and the racism and female leads and things like that. And even the X-Men, the new X-Men 97 coming out. Now you got people having a problem, even though X-Men 92 back in the 90s was probably worse. And, nobody had that much, controversy behind it, even though it did have controversy, but not as much as now. And maybe that could be because of social media, right? Like you're seeing it more. Maybe it was always there, except now we're just seeing it more. Maybe that's what it is. But when we talk about Hot Toys, don't even get me started. I know I got a couple Hot Toys collectors on there. I love you guys. But, I always say it, man. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't, because even with Hot Toys will come out with a new product. Boom, they get destroyed. And I'm not talking about like people saying, hey, I think the face is off, or hey, I think, man, they get destroyed. I could pull up any single picture from Hot Toys, Facebook, and we could look at those comments, man. And I'm telling you right now that those comments are just on another level of toxicity, where if my kids were looking at it, I wouldn't even want them to see it, because just people start trashing, people start name calling, people start then they start talking about the movies, then they're arguing in the comments, and it just becomes a war in the comments. It's like, I almost wish that these companies will sometimes post stuff and just turn off the comments, but then you get that smaller crowd that's actually giving constructive feedback. And I really do think that most of these companies want to hear from you guys, because they want to make those changes, because they want to make it perfect for you. I don't think that there's one company out there that doesn't want to make a product and hit it out the park for you guys to buy. Like, I don't think any company sitting out there like, yeah, let's just throw this out there. They get mad. No, they want it to be perfect, so that way you guys keep buying from them, because that's how they make their money. I don't think they're putting out things to piss you off and get you guys brewing in the comments, even though sometimes it feels like that. And I get when people in the Hot Toys community get upset because, certain things are being released and they're not being released, and, changes are being made. Then they're saying they're not changing stuff, and then there's AI being incorporated to it. And there's so many different things, and it's such a big topic to talk about. But the main focus here that I don't want to stray away from is how that person in the comments or how that person at home acts when there's a new release, when there's a policy change, when there's a broken statue, when there's something, going on. Real quick, Cool Game Collectibles, what's up? Hot toy someday, man. Some days. I get it. Everything now is quick pick too much. Correct. I freaking hate it, guys. I absolutely hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, on that part though, Miguel, I don't mean to interrupt you, but let me ask you both a question since we're having like a kind of an open forum here. So let's think about this for a second. This is what I'm kind of curious about. What would be the likelihood, say you go on Prime One's page or any statue group, right?
Mm-hmm.
They release initial pictures. What do you think is the probability that the people that are looking at that post, I keep getting text messages, sorry. The people that are looking at that post is actually buying the statue. How many of those guys you think are actually buying the statue?
You.
Let's think about that for a second. All the people that trash something, right? And listen, I'm not sticking up for Prime One because we're going to keep discussing kind of the different things and how statue companies respond. They're not innocent either. But I'm just telling you, for the people that are trashing it, right? You get somebody like you guys coming on and you'll be like, oh man, you know what? The coloring's a little bit off here. Maybe if you touch it with a little bit of blue and mix it with these colors, it might look a little better. But then you got the other 75%, I'm just guessing. Let me just guess here, that have all the opinions in the world, but they're not putting their money on it. Now, they're allowed to do that. They can. But this is the kind of shit that happens when you take it too far and you cross that line and you start it. Guys, it's not that hard. You walk into a store and you start treating employees like shit and cursing them out. They're going to kick you out.
Yep.
They're going to kick you out. You can have your opinions all you want. You could do whatever you want, but it's kind of like you go to school and you're getting bullied or somebody's bullying that one kid. And guess what? The fat kid had enough and he fucking snaps. Right? Now, at the same time, he shouldn't have handled it that way. He should have nipped it in the butt from the very beginning and he let it get to that point. But that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like when they have these new pictures get released, how many of those people are actually, there's a difference between constructive criticism and valid opinions and then just sounding uneducated and saying that looks stupid as shit. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just a little, I'm very curious to see how many people would actually be the ones buying the statue and giving constructive feedback or just saying it's shitty,
Yeah. The other thing with that is, and that's again another. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I opened up something else. The other thing with that is that some of these people who don't buy the statue, right, or the figure, are kind of like doing it to talk themselves out of it or to feel better about not buying it. Like you ever feel like somebody's just like, yeah, that Magneto face, it just wasn't right. Who wants that? It's such a big, base and stuff. And it's just like, well, okay. I mean, so if you don't like it, you don't like it, but they keep trashing. I feel like they're talking themselves into reassuring them that that's why I didn't get it. Like, I don't know. It's almost like everybody's measuring themselves on everybody else.
Some people just want to get a small following in a chat thread. Yes, and get conversation going and then dip out of the conversation and everybody's arguing with each other.
Yeah. Ghetto Yoda post with 2,000 comments on a statue with edition size of 800.
Exactly.
Another valid point.
Exactly.
You think that because now edition sizes are so small that companies are having more issues where, the customer service starts becoming a little bit, more intense because they're dealing with a smaller crowd and some people want it, and you got people, talking about it. I don't know. There's a lot there too. But that's all, that's all really well said things. And like I mentioned before, man, like, I really don't want to go into the comments. I was thinking about it so you guys could see, but listen, you guys can go for yourself. PCS just posted the Spider-Man statue. Guarantee there's some toxicity in there. And then there's people saying, oh, they like it. Go into these Prime One Studios, which we're going to look at now, conversations, and man, people are just dogging the crap out of them. But we're going to jump back to that because I have a lot to say on that type of person. But I want to let's get this out. So right now we're talking, we already know that Japan has this law coming out, and that's most likely the reason why Prime One Studios had to post something like this. But at the same time, I want to agree with Adam where, it almost feels like this was their shot to get back at these people that have been running their mouth per se and be like, yeah, now you guys got to be careful because there's a law out here. Right. But let's see. So real quick. So this was this. Now, Kennedy posted this in COC, and I believe this got reposted on everybody, really. But this is what Prime One Studios said. Let me just hold on. All right, so let me see if I could make this a little bigger. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is the policy on customer harassment. And basically, this is just in a nutshell, kind of what the law states, where, there's instances where customers, harassment by a small number of customers, including abusive language, threats, and unreasonable demands directed toward our customer support channels and social media platforms, such as behavior, not only negatively affects the health and working environment of employees, but also causes inconvenience and distress to other customers and related parties. Now, just to dissect that is exactly what Adam was talking about. And not for nothing, some of us don't want to hear that stuff. It makes it sometimes you ever feel like, man, I just don't want to be on live anymore, or I doesn't want to collect anymore because it's so toxic, right? And then you got the employees there that are just getting beat up left and right. And that's where I think Jonathan comes into play, which we're going to talk about him a little bit. But again, they're saying it's to ensure the human rights of all individuals involved in our business as respected and to continue providing customers with better products. We have established for the following policy on customer harassment. So they have, corporate manual measures and definition of customer harassment, complaints or behavior from customers in which this means the manner used to pursue the demand of socially inappropriate in light of validity and the demand itself, and which nearby harm work environment of employees. Abusive languages, insults, discriminatory remarks, defamation. I want you guys to remember that defamation or slander, including through social media and or emails. Now, guys, we've all been in these groups where we've seen people post the emails that are meant to be confidential with the company and say, this is me telling them off. Look at me. I'm such a badass. And this is their response. Remember, I said this. Anyway, we get the point, right? So they went ahead and basically was like, look, where is it? To ensure the
touching on that point that you just said, Miguel,
yes.
is like,
go ahead.
Okay, so you post a conversation, right? Instead of keeping the conversation, and this is just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to the companies too, because like I said, they're not totally innocent, but you're trying to get something worked out. Now you're trying to, people like that where they're posting the conversations and they're like, well, if I'm not going to get my way, I'm going to publicly shame you, even though that I know that there's not a replacement piece for a fucking arm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do what I tell you to do, because I'm the customer and I'm always right, if you don't give me that replacement piece, I'm going to just tear you a new one online. Now, some companies deserve it sometimes because they can be assholes too. But it's just very situational. Like, could you have handled that better before you went there, is my point.
No, I agree. Lord Collectibles, what's good, panel and chat? Hey, what's going on? Why is Miguel dressed like he's representing himself in court? We are in court today, my friend. This is Collectors Court, a new segment here on Toy Quest 101, where collectors hold the truth. Listen, we are talking about the Prime One Studios drama behind their new law and policy that they passed. New law in Japan and policy that they pass on to us, the viewers or the customers, and how it was received by us. So we're talking about that. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go into my whole entire thing, which I started talking about K-Fett, and then I'm going to move on to K-Fett because we've been talking a lot. But real quick, so back to that post that we put. Miguel's a really good lawyer too. I do like to argue. So in that post being said that if this law does come to fruition on October 1st, which I think it's already a done deal, that they will be, canceling orders or banning you as a customer or not selling to you or whatever the case is, and just basically taking you out of the groups, taking you out of social media and stuff. And that's where everybody kind of started blowing up, right? So I want to say this, and this is where probably people are going to be pissed off at me, and it's okay. So there's certain individuals out there, which I'm not going to name because they're not worth my time, but you guys know who you are. You guys know who you are. I've ripped into you on private chats. I've spoken to you on the phone. I don't do anything publicly. I either see you in your face or tell you in your ear. It doesn't matter. But there's some of you guys out there that think that it's the norm to go ahead and attack these companies on public forums and do exactly what Adam said. Oh, you're going to go ahead and not, do things my way. You don't like the answer that you get. And then you start publicly shaming them on their social media platforms or on their pages and stuff. And remember that word, defamation. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this. And I've been saying this for years, that when you guys talk like this or put that business out there, these companies could come after you if they wanted to. And I think, and I'm telling you right now, on this day, June 9th, 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the day that happens, then everybody's going to figure out like, oh shit, maybe we should just like relax a little, right? Because these companies could go after you. Defamation is a huge, huge no-no. And guess what? It's a paper trail. Everything you do on social media is a paper trail. The evidence is there. You put it out. It's crazy. Yo, what's up, buddy? We got Mario in the building. But the other thing too is it's like K-Fett was saying, maybe these guys, some do it for attention. Some people, then there's influencers who do it, who I believe just do it for clicks and because they don't have any type of creativity whatsoever. So I feel like that's the only way that they get views is by bringing drama and being negative and things like that. And my problem with that is that you guys, whether you're liked, not liked, whether you're watched, not watched, whatever it is, you're always going to have a crowd that becomes someone who's new in the hobby and now think that that's the norm to act going forward. And now you're getting more and more people acting like that, right? It's like a cancer, like a viral thing where people think that they could go online and start trashing companies and belittling them. And listen, there's a huge difference between somebody making a critique on something, constructive feedback. There's a lot of people that do a very, very good job out there doing it. And listen, it's okay to crack jokes too. If you want to say, man, that face looks like such and such and crack jokes, that's fine, right? But when you're attacking them and saying things and then going and posting the same thing on every single Facebook group that everybody's in and doing that, dude, it's crazy. Let me give you guys another little secret that I think I said this once or twice before. A lot of people don't know. not only are we talking about customer service, guys, but these sculptors, these artists, they're in these groups. They watch these shows. These companies, they watch. I guarantee you right now, Prime One Studios is watching this show right now. I guarantee you. I'm going to get an email or a message from somebody. I promise you they're watching this show. A lot of you guys don't know that. I'm gonna leave you guys on a very, very, very deep secret, and it's all there. You can look. My Facebook group was, and maybe still is, the only Facebook group that has corporate companies in it watching, and nobody knows that they're in it. If you go and look and see who's in it, Prime One Studios. I don't know if Prime One Studios is in it. Psy might still be in it, but XM Studios is in there. Sideshow's in there. Everybody from Diamond Select, Gentle Giant, Iron Studios, Caustic Plastic, PCS. I let them all in there because that is a place where they could go ahead and sees people actual reaction without them knowing they're there. Because I also feel like when they're in their own PCS group or in the Caustic Plastic group or in Sideshow's group, they know that they're there. So they get a little bit more, excited to go ahead and talk crap. LBS as well. Wave Studios. There's so many, right? But on my Facebook group, they're able to go in there and see stuff for what it is with people not knowing that they're in there. And you guys could look, they're in there. People are going to be like, oh shit, they really are in there.
Well, sometimes they use their personal profiles too.
Well, that's if they're going incognito, right? Yeah. But I can promise you that these guys are watching it. We've talked about Sideshow before they started allowing Sideshow to come on to shows. When I was the only channel that had Terry on, that was able to have Danny Bell on. I was the first ones. And then they started changing things and saying, hey, maybe this is a good idea. Let's expand it. Let's get them more out there and start doing that. But they were always watching to make sure you guys are on your P's and Q's. Make sure you're not badgering these companies and doing things or letting things out and stuff like that. Sideshow is the best. I agree. But you guys got to be careful, not only because of the customer service aspect of it, but because you're hurting these people's feelings. These people that we love and look up to, Daniel Bell, Franco Carlissimo, all these guys, the Kasherik brothers, right? And sometimes it's hard to ignore this stuff, but you guys got to be very careful. But what I don't like, again, is the people that are making this the norm for other people to think that it's okay to do this without consequences. And I think this that happened now with Prime One Studios is stage one of consequences that we haven't seen before. And now people are getting agitated about it. But with that being said, K-Fett, I want to get your opinion now. So far we talked about the law that happened. That's a fact, right? We know that this law is something that Japan put in place. We know that this is something that we all could agree that's probably happening a lot for them to even make a law, and they kind of want to nip it in the butt. And Prime One Studios have put this on their socials and on their website because not only did they have to, but it might be a possibility that they probably was just like, this is our chance to kind of nip this in the butt as far as all the attacks and stuff that we get as well from our community. So that's so far what we have yet. We still haven't seen the other two things that we're going to talk about, which is the update that they did and then the response from one of their Prime One Studios members. But what do you think with all that being said, that's going on and the feedback that people have been getting and how they've been acting since that announcement?
Well, the feedback has been off the charts. I was really surprised. I haven't been on a lot of the channels, but of course I'm watching all the different Facebook groups and stuff like that. And I was really surprised how many comments, because to me, I'm like, look, if I'm talking to someone on the customer service side, almost back to Adam's example, 9 out of 10 times, most of the people you're dealing with are not the ones who caused that problem. Matter of fact, even if you get a broken statue, it may not be the statue company's problem. That could have been UPS or FedEx or someone who just drop kicked your box before they set it on your doorstep. So there's a lot of factors that you have to kind of roll in. And I try to even go back a little bit and go, look, we all had that first job when we were in high school or whatnot. And most time we were interacting with customers. For me, it was sacking groceries. And look, I mean, it was my fault if I put your bread at the bottom of the bag and I threw the 12 cans of Coke on top of it. But overall, I was not responsible for the pricing in the store or bad produce and things like that, but I would hear people yell about it and complain about it as I was walking out with them with their stuff. It's not my fault, but I got hit with it. And you got to think about that. You got to think when you're starting to reach out or when you're getting upset about things, are you really dealing with the person who's actually sticking it to you or the situation? Because 9 out of 10 times you're not. So step back for a minute. And I think you guys have made some real valuable points. Be careful what you're putting out, obviously, on the internet. Be careful what you're publicizing, because yes, there can eventually get to the point where there is defamation of character. Things like that can happen, especially if you're going after an individual in particular. The company will be one thing, but if you're calling out the CEO or someone like that directly by name, you should be careful. Miguel and I were talking. My background's in marketing. I know this for a fact. This is something that businesses can go after each other for, and that's why everyone's very careful about when they try to do competitive displacement. They want to stick with the facts. So just be careful when you're out there, and be careful when you get heated about this stuff. We've all had major purchases. We've all seen some frustrations, but are you dealing with the person who either A, can resolve it, or B, actually did it to you? Chances are 9 out of 10 times you aren't. So kind of step back. But yes, I am very surprised how heated this topic got. And I can also see too, there's some argument going, hey, it's kind of loose out there. One company you could talk to and go, hey, I want a replacement. I want to get this changed. And they're like, yeah, we're going to address that. Another company could be like, oh, you're coming at me. You're kind of aggressive here. And they could start reading between the line and then decide not to service me. So it is a slippery slope. I don't want to go completely on the company side, because I can see that this could be problematic for the buyers. And once again, it goes back to all those posts you're putting out there and stuff. And it goes that saying, this is why we can't have nice stuff. It just takes someone to ruin it. And you're like, here we go again. So I don't think this is going to directly impact everyone if we just stay cool about it. We've all been in the industry long enough. We've been in this hobby long enough. Things are going to go wrong. Most of these companies do find ways to make it right. Be civil with them, and chances are you're gonna make it out okay with some kind of resolution. It may not be the perfect one, but it will be some resolution. But we'll see. I'm really interested. I don't think this is going to die down anytime soon. So
no, I don't think it's going to die out soon either. Real quick, Lord Collectibles, I always try to ignore people like that. Negativity and addictive drugs on social media, it gets attention, and it's sad. This is true. Same thing happens in the gaming industry. Immature gamers love to attack the devs and think they're going to help them get their way. Yeah, I mean, I think it happens everywhere now, and I think it's because of social media. Like I said before, I think it's always been around. I just think we're seeing it a lot more. It's in our face more and more and more because of social media, and because of the way the world is kind of turning right now. But well said, K-Fett. Now, do you guys think that certain people, like the ones that I mentioned, that are doing these things to companies, and I'm not, again, I want to clarify the difference between constructive criticism and somebody badgering and attacking a company, whether it's an influencer, whether it's a viewer, a customer, just that whole bubble. We're not just talking one thing. Do you think that's ruining the hobby at all? I'll go with K-Fett first, and then Adam.
I don't think we should get away from constructive criticism. I think when constructive criticism is put out there, we as a group move to a better product, move to improve the hobby. So I think, again, there's these channels that eloquently put it out. We find things because we're passionate. We know the material, we know the source material, and maybe Batman's cape isn't right because they went with yellow. Okay, and we all know it's either black, blue, or possibly gray. You can make those arguments. So that kind of criticism that helps the designer, helps the company get to it, the right thing for us all, great. But yeah, I mean, I think Adam and even the comments that we're putting out there, when you get the 2,000 posts on an 800 piece, there's people that are just going to hate. Unfortunately, that's the sad thing about the internet is, there's a lot of miserable people out there, and they got a place just to be miserable and be able to hate.
That's okay.
It comes with territory.
That it is okay. Like, I want to be clear that it is okay to comment on something that you're not buying, but there's a difference between saying, hey, just don't, I don't know how else to say it in a simple form, because I'm very simple-minded. Just don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
Yeah, have you ever went somewhere and something went wrong and you were actually pretty cool with the guy and you were trying to work it out and the guy went like above and beyond because you were super nice to him? Or maybe that happened to you. You were working in a store and the guy was being super nice where you're like, damn, this guy could have just ripped me a new one and he didn't. He's still being cool about it. But I'm going to go a little bit further to try to help him out because he was so nice about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it does come down to, especially I've been all over the world because I was in the military for a long time and I've been to a lot of Asian countries. I live in an Asian household. Like my family's Asian. Or part of my family. So the United States, Americans, and I love America, but we have this culture of being spoiled and kind of saying, well, if I throw a fit, I'll get my way. And they go, yeah, let me do it for you. Let me fix it for you. But when you have a company and a business, you try to help out people the best you can, but at the same time, you don't have to tolerate people's bullshit. Mm-hmm. You just don't. Now, at the same time, I shouldn't be an asshole in return. And let me give you an example. If I'm going into business publicly, which I am with 2 businesses that I have, I know it comes with the territory that I'm going to get an asshole every now and then. It's going to happen. Now, it depends on how I deal with that asshole. Even if you get somebody that typically when I get somebody who's being real hostile, you know what I do? I kill them with kindness. And I try to be real nice about it. Now you get to a point where that line is, and you're just like, okay, enough's enough. All right, that's it. Listen, I try to be cordial with you. I'm trying to be cool with you, but now we're taking a little bit too far. I'll tell you what. Why don't you go to the guy down the street? Because I feel like you might have a better opportunity to getting better customer service from him. Mm-hmm. That's me in a nice way saying, get the fuck out. Right? I mean, it's all in how you deal with it, but you're going to get Karens, you're going to get keyboard warriors, but at the same time, you can't be sensitive to the fact if you're in business that you can't have thin skin in business.
Yeah.
You can't be an owner and then somebody say something to you or give you some constructive feedback, or it's kind of borderline and you say, well, I don't have to deal with this shit. Like, yeah, no, you don't have to do that either. I'm trying to play devil's advocate a little bit here, but yeah.
No, we are now because we talked right now about, we almost sided defending with Prime One Studios, but now we're going to go to the consumer or the viewer or whoever, that's what we're going to turn into now. But real quick, so constructive criticism is always welcome. However, negative bashing in the name of passion or just for clicks is wrong and insanely annoying. Absolutely. Lord Collectibles, sometimes I feel like the community should call those individuals out wherever it happens. Lord, I hate to tell you, they're always going to be around, and that's exactly what they want. So everybody ignores them because you're not adding fuel to the fire. And you know what I think those people should do? I don't think people should call them out. I think people should just cancel them, block them, delete them. Don't look for them. Don't watch their shit. Don't answer them. Don't anything. That's all we got to do. With me, it's a different story because when I see you, it's different. But anyway, but yeah. Don't be an asshole.
So true, by the way.
Yeah, Joe.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah, and agreed, Adam. Well said. Listen, all this is good stuff. I love it so far. And like you said, I think obviously it's okay. Listen, companies want constructive feedback. Companies want to know where they messed up and how they could fix it, especially in the early stages. That's why pre-orders are important. That's why, early samples are important. How many people get pissed off? Everybody knows that I get sponsors and samples and all this. That's how my show is. I'm not rich. I don't have this type of money, and that's something that I've done with my channel forever. I've been very open about it, but there's people who get upset. Oh, he got a sample. He's in their pockets or whatever the case is. Guys, you should be happy that we have this ahead of time, because if there's changes you want to make, now somebody has it in front of you. real cameras, real lights, real like natural lighting, no, and then you can give those feedbacks back. The amount of negativity which is one of the biggest reasons why my daughter's not on the channel no more, which is a shame. A lot of people don't know about that, is that people, just running their mouth, not knowing anything and saying and doing things like that. So when it comes to that constructive feedback, it's okay to do it. And companies want that. Believe me, when we had Daniel Bell on the show, when he first got on a live, ever, he said it. I asked him flat out. I was like, listen, can you confirm or deny that you watch people react on your stuff? He's like, I do it all the time. And I was like, what do you do with the good and the bad? He's like, I got to take it all in. I have to, I don't like sometimes how the negative stuff comes in because it hurts our feelings. But there's things that if I could take a little bit from it and fix it, it always helps out. And he said that in a very passionately way, which I know that was something that was bugging him. But we want to, have constructive feedback. Speak with the wild. Spot on. Speak with the wild. I'm sure there are some out there who can't afford these pieces, so the default to trash and product they can't afford. Yep, absolutely. All for drama and clicks. Now, let's get back onto the topic. Now that we went down that rabbit hole, let's talk about the collateral damage, right? So on June 9th, it seems like they backtracked what they say to clarify, what they posted. Now, this is directly from their website. Then we're going to talk about
Prime
what
One.
Prime One. This is directly from the website. Then we're going to talk about what they put on their Facebook group, because I thought that was a little weird. But really quick, just a big one here. We would therefore like to clarify that nothing in the policy changes the rights of our customers. Any rights relating to returns, refunds, exchanges, cancellations, warranties, or other remedies available under applicable laws or our terms and policy changes the right of customers. Any rights, returning rights, blah, 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 applicable laws or terms and conditions remain unchanged. So basically, they're kind of like backtracking here. Saying, hey, this is not actually going to affect you guys as much as you think. Where is it at? We would like to clarify there's nothing in the policy that changes the rights of our customers and any rights relating to their returns, refunds, exchanges, cancellations, warranties, or any other remedies. So they kind of switched up their wording, kind of like a damage control, because I guess people were thinking that this was like, I guess, them saying that, hey, we're going to go ahead and, return everything. We're going to cancel you guys, period, if you guys come at our throat. So there was a little bit of collateral damage there and them fixing up, which doesn't always look good when it comes to a company doing that, because it's almost like they're admitting that they messed up. Now this is where
that happens. That happens sometimes.
It does, but I don't think it ever looks good.
Looks good. Yeah, it never does.
Like you should have thought that out the first time around, because I feel like it's very important, right? Like if you're gonna get a message across, you better do it right. Because then you're gonna have to relate to this, and then people are gonna be like, yeah, they messed up.
Well, you only get one chance with some people. Yeah,
true. So now all right, here we go. So this is the interesting part, and this is where we're going to go in on another tangent about things. So for those who know and are in the Facebook group here, Johnny Matsumoto. Sorry if I butchered your name. Now, I don't think this is the Johnny that owns the company, because I think the guy who owns the company's name is John as well. This is not him, but I think this is one of the bigger guys in the company who kind of deal with social media marketing, all that stuff. And he also puts on here, the whole clarifying and things like that. Now, he does show examples of this policy with Nintendo, Bandai, and all these other companies, which, to be honest, I think was really good, because it kind of gauges what the situation looks like. But this right here, can I blow this up? I don't think I can blow this up. Can I blow this up? Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on, give me a second, guys.
I might
Let
have
me
that
see.
separately as a picture, and I could send it to you.
Yeah, or can you? Is it on your phone or? Oh wait,
It's
here we
on
go.
my
Hold
here
on.
we go.
No,
You
no,
got
I got it.
There
I
you
got
go.
it. I got it. Yeah, I
Nice.
put it on there. All right, so here we go. So this is where I kind of was like, why did you do this? Right? Because examples of behavior that crossed the line. And I didn't know how I felt like this because he did blur some of the names out, right? And or I'm sorry, the thumbnails out or their avatars, but you could clearly see if you know some of these who they are. And you could also see where he got these from too, being on some. But if you look, this is some type of stuff that we were talking about that kind of just like, geez. Sorry, Johnny, did I hurt your feelings again? You butthurt narcissistic cunt.
Hey, can you zoom in just a little bit more? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Are you trying to figure out how to spell narcissistic there, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, check.
Exactly.
yeah, they are the worst company, completely disrespectful asshole. Glad I'm not buying from them any more stuff. So this boils down to we can screw over any customer we want and hide it behind a harassment policy. And this is where it kind of gets iffy too, which is another topic we're going to probably lean into is there potential for them to hide some of their setbacks behind the harassment policy, which you could see that happening too, in my opinion. But here we go. The policy wouldn't exist if it had a functional customer service and had replaced Johnny, that fat piece of shit. Basically, Prime One Studios continue to screw you, and if you complain, they will call it harassment. That smells of Johnny all over it. The biggest oxymoron in the statue of Prime One Studios customer support. Dude, Johnny is special, isn't he? Never bought a Prime One Studios, but I mean, listen,
Right there.
and I'm sure this is probably one of the ones that are like nerfed down, because I'm sure there was worse ones than this. Personal attacks and insults, mocking individuals, threats, harassment, and creating a toxic environment are not acceptable. These behaviors will result in removal from the group. And a lot of people have gotten removed from this. And particularly, I want to say that our friends Rad Titan, who never were known to be as double-sided as we are, where we kind of try to, they're kind of like, they're raw, right? They're raw. They're going to say it how it is. They're going to say how it feels, but they still are respectful about it. You know what I mean? I don't think they go and destroy companies or anything like that. But when they did their show, they got kicked out. I will see if I'm kicked out of the group by the end of today.
We might all three.
All three of us, yeah. So listen, I do want to say I don't know Johnny. I hate the name Johnny. No offense, not because of you.
They're gonna add that as a comment on there now.
We're gonna add that as a comment on here. But I don't know if I like this or not, because now you're calling out certain individuals, even though you're trying to give an example of what's going on. I understand that. But I don't know how I felt about this. And I do agree with you, though, that this shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be no narcissistic cunt. There shouldn't be asshole, name calling, all that. That's bullying. There's, Facebook itself, guys, YouTube, Facebook, all these have anti-bullying, parameters where if he really wanted to, he could just report you and get you banned from Facebook. So be happy that he's banning you from the group and not from Facebook, because we know a lot of us have been in Facebook jail, not me, but close friends of mine.
We got close friends, yeah,
we got close friends. But now
some of this ain't even bad. Like, if you pull that back up, there's some of this is not even like. So, like, okay, the narcissistic cunt part, that's pretty fucking bad. But like, so it boils down to you could screw any customer and then hide behind a customer or harassment policy.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, am I gonna publicly, like, this is almost like a tick for tat. Like, you did this, so we're gonna do this. That's not how a company should respond to something like this. And let me just tell you this. I don't know Johnny. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's part owner but if he right now, if this was my company and my business, I would tell Johnny to shut the fuck up and go sit down. If this was my business, if I was Prime One's owner, right? And mind you, I love Prime One. I buy statues from them all the time. I love Prime One. But if this guy, this is a perfect example of owning a business and one person One person that doesn't handle things the right way and uses tact, they represent your whole company.
Well, now that you said that, let me find the other slide, because we're going to see Johnny's responses that he chose not to put on here, but we know somebody in the community did exactly that, which I'm glad they did. So kudos to them. Did I not put it on here? You son of a... All right, hold on. Let me find it. Damn it. I thought I was going to be better prepared. Court will have a recess of 5 minutes. I don't know where I have it. Somebody posted. Where the hell is this?
We were talking about it in the private chat in our messenger.
All right, let me check the messenger real quick.
I think we were talking about it. You sent it to me.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up on the private chat here. I'll pull it up on our.
Why you do that though? But that's what I'm saying. It's like, listen, this is why. When I was a sales manager at a dealership, right? We had a guy that went on social media. This is on his day off. Had nothing to do with cars. He got drunk and said some racial slander stuff.
Oof.
Guess what we had to do? We had to fire him. We had to fire him because he represented our company. You get what I'm saying? He's a representative of the company.
Yeah.
But anyway. I'll let everybody look at this.
Real quick, before I get to this, let me just go into the chats real quick. As a consumer, it's always best to speak with your wallet. More than half of these collectors don't even have the statues they complain about. Adams kills them with kindness. Miguel forgets the kindness. then you got Mario saying facts. All right. You guys make me such an asshole. All right. Spot on. I'm sure. Okay. Am I not highlighting this? I'm not. Okay. Lower collectibles. I'm sure that some of us out here can't afford these pieces, so the default search. Oh yeah, we said that. Yep, Miguel, got to be able to take the bashing criticism as an artist and even as a YouTuber. Correct. Mario bashes my art. Now these guys are going back and forth, which I love it. I'm spelling narcissistics the wrong way. All right. I love these guys. All right, Craig, how did you get fired the first day off? Oh God. All right. So anyway, back to these guys, back to what we're talking about here. Now this is Johnny responding, guys. And again, Johnny, if you're watching, yeah, I'm kind of calling you out. I don't know you. I don't have any ill will against you. I'm a fan of Prime One Studios. I'm probably not even your biggest customer. I'm not even a customer at all right now. But I did partner up with Prime One Studios. I do think highly of the company, like I mentioned in the first start of the video. I love your products. I love your artists. I love your freaking lives. I mean, you guys nail a lot of things, but I believe that this is a huge setback for you guys. Taking so many steps forward, this just bumped you back in the line. But this is a conversation between Bruce Lean. Hopefully you don't mind me using this, but you put it out in public, so fair use content. Anyway, it says right here, really, do you have any idea about games? Call it DEI. You better fuck off the group. I won't tolerate this kind of attitude. You think I'm customer service or what? Am here using free time, answer people's question as a collector? No. Connection with Prime One, am I clear? There are no plans to adjust ahead. We are perfectly happy with the result. If you try to post other company stuff here, result in auto banned. Now, that's one thing I have seen Prime One Studios do, which I can't stand, is when somebody does give criticism or constructive criticism, and they act like, oh, we're already doing that. Like, it's almost like they're too good to hear somebody actually be like, hey, listen, I don't think this head's right. Here's a example. And they kind of come off like, oh, we're already working on it. We knew that already. That arrogance gets me upset. Yes, very, very, yes. That's very, very disappointing. Now, Johnny goes again. It will never happen under my direction. If you want it better, fired me from the company. If companies do it, doesn't mean we need to follow them. One more time about unlicensed, which Nomura despise. I will ban your account permanently, and I don't give a crap about it. Go ahead, reply back with excuse. Waiting, you delete all comment regarding custom.
This is exactly how not to handle a situation from a company.
Yeah.
This is exactly, and look at to make matters worse, you're using Prime One's logo and chat, and the moment you start cursing, you're unprofessional. You just are.
Yeah.
And this is not the way to handle this. Look, and we just said, and this is coming from a guy who loves Prime One. This is exactly how not to handle this. And if you don't want to have to backtrack off everything, I kind of feel like not all this backtracking, but that backtracking statement and policy changes and stuff, Johnny's not helping. He's not helping. And that's why I said, and K-Fett knows this. He manages people and manages different things. If this was me talking like this, K-Fett would be like, would you sit your little ass down and shut the hell up? Would you just shut the fuck up for a second and let me fix this?
Philly, what's up, Philly?
So yeah, I mean, look, we just sided with Prime One that they shouldn't have to take this and take that. It goes both ways, guys. You can't respond even when somebody is disrespectful to you and you're in business dealing with high-end statues, and you're representing a company, not yourself, a company using the logos and shit, and you start saying you better fuck off. Are you stupid?
Now, I didn't find this out, and I probably could have, but I didn't want to really dig into it too much. I don't know what position Johnny is, guys. So I don't want to.
Somebody help us out with that. I'd love to know.
I would love to know, Johnny, if you're listening. No disrespect, brother. If you, I don't ever do this, but if you want to come on live and talk about it in a safe way, we can. I understand that you're probably frustrated. Believe me, I know exactly where you're coming from because I see it happen too often. And do I believe that you should be taking this lightly? No, I think you don't deserve this, but at the same time, it sounds like you're in a pretty high position, so you should know this comes with the territory, and you should probably act a little bit more professional, especially after that law, because it's kind of like being hypocritical, right? Because the law that you're trying to state and bring on to us, the viewers, especially in other countries like the USA, you're doing the same shit back to us.
Exactly.
So are you gonna get in trouble? Like, are you gonna get locked up because you're doing what you're doing to us, what you're blaming us that we're doing to you? Like, I don't think there's a right person or a wrong person here. It's gonna kind of be hard to get the verdict here on who's right or wrong. And I don't want to blame Prime One Studios for everything, and I don't want to blame the consumer for everything either. Like, it's almost kind of like these two kids arguing, and like, guys, how about you? Everybody just shut the fuck up, and you sell statues, and you guys buy what you want. You know what I mean? But again, this is not good because this is the most hypocritical thing you could do after releasing a statement and after putting out a law that's going to happen in October. Or maybe are you dishing this out now before it actually becomes a law? K-Fett, what do you think about that?
What do I think about it becoming a law, or just
this? No, I mean, just Johnny here. Yeah. Johnny kind of
so
replying back the same way he's getting it, I guess.
I think Adam's spot on from a business standpoint. Again, I'm going to go back into my marketing roots. You do have to pull some of your employees back at some level and just kind of be like, be careful, man. You are representing the business still, and as heated as you got to get, you still have to take kind of the higher ground, and you're sinking into it. You're getting pulled into the trap, and nothing good is going to come from this. You might feel satisfied for a minute for firing back, but at the end of the day, nothing good is going to come from this, especially when you're a consumer brand. That's hard. I'm sympathetic though. I get it. And part of me too, whether it's Johnny or whether it's the rest of the leadership in Prime One or some of these other companies, they are at some level trying to defend their employees. They're trying to make it a good work environment for their employees by doing this. It's just, this is getting a little too deep. So that would be my coaching advice from a marketing standpoint. I'd probably pull that gentleman back and just be like, let's talk it a little bit here before you post anymore. You're right at a certain level, but do you see how this is not going to go that way in the end?
Exactly. Yep.
I agree.
You know, Miguel, if you can, and I don't know if this might be a long shot or what, but if Johnny actually sees this, if Johnny's a real person and not just a made up name that they just use because they don't want you to know his real name, which is fine. Probably not. I don't
Most
know.
likely it. No, I think that's it.
If it is, I would take this opportunity if I was Johnny to say, hey, man, let me come on your show and let me explain why.
Yeah.
Let me explain, because I do feel sympathetic to because I've been on both sides. I've been the customer that got a broken statue and I spent $3,000-$4,000. And I've been on the other side where it's like, listen, man, I got employees right now. If people are calling my employees a stupid cunt and shit like that, I'm like, look, you're out of here, buddy. I'm not serving you. So I get the frustration, but you're doing exactly like Miguel said. You're doing exactly the policy that you're trying to put into place. You're not taking the high road, like K-Fett said. K-Fett said it in the most professional manner that someone would actually tell you if you were in an office environment.
Yeah. And by the
Now,
way,
if
guys,
I was-
real quick, not to
Go
cut you
ahead.
off, I'll let you real quick. The reason why I don't have my normal guys with me here, no offense to them, Adam has 2 businesses, probably more. He probably works for the FBI, just we don't know it. K-Fett, major marketing, travels almost every week, right? So we're like talking. Yeah, I wanted to get people on here that kind of had an idea of how things work. But I used to be a district manager for retail, Fortune 500 companies. I have a business, a couple other things. I referee. You guys know what I do.
Yep.
But this isn't coming from like a random place. Like this isn't coming from like some random, out of our ass, let's say. But anyway, go ahead, Adam. Continue.
No, I mean, listen, I'm not saying that we're experts, right? We just have experience in this area where you're dealing with the public and we've been on both sides, right? And it's one of those things where I would like to hear from Johnny, because texting somebody, let me give you an example. Texting somebody frustration can interpret a lot different than explaining it in person.
Yeah.
On top of that, to compound that issue, I've been to Japan 2 or 3 times. Cultural differences also have a lot to do with it and how people articulate certain things. He might be getting even more frustrated if he can't articulate things a certain way, because I can kind of see how he's texting. I'm not trying to say that he's got bad English. He's just got a different culture and he lives in a different country, and he's probably trying to explain something. He's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You know what I mean? So I feel for him. Like I said, I love Prime One. I would love to hear him come on your show, Miguel, where it would just be a forum where people don't attack each other and just say, what happened, man? What led us to this? And without bussing people out and showing the receipts on everything, what happened? Just generally speaking, were you getting, I can only imagine. Think about the last time you got pissed off with a statue company and you wanted to curse them out, but you might not have had to handle it that way. But think about all the other couple hundred people that ordered that statue, and 20% of them were treating these guys like shit. You know? So I don't know.
No, I think that's freaking well said. Now, as far as Johnny coming onto the show, I doubt they'll do it.
I doubt it, but
if
hey,
they want to do everything on their platform, hey, I'll go on your platform and I'll host your own platform. I don't care.
And just have a conversation. Come on Toy Quest 101 and just have a conversation and just say, and no one's going to attack you. We won't, because we won't allow it. Or I know Miguel won't allow it.
No, I don't.
But just have a conversation and say, hey, man, what happened? What got to this point, and how do we move on from this? Because people do, at a certain point, you need accountability. You need accountability. People, I'm so tired. I'm so offended of everybody being offended by everything, because it's kind of fucking annoying. But at the same time, people do need to be accountable for their actions, because if they're not, they're just going to continue doing dumb shit and attacking people for no reason. And it hurts business. It hurts business. The business that you buy statues from and that you like, you might get banned. Now, here's the thing. If they ban you, you might just turn around and just go buy it from Sideshow anyway. Like, you know what I mean? So is it really a ban? Yeah, you just can't buy directly from them, but you could go through, other channels to get it. So,
yeah. I mean, listen, I agree. What new edition there? Oh, they're talking about something else. No, I completely agree. And it's one of those things where I feel like everybody's at fault here, But at the end of the day, in my opinion, like you said, I feel like this could have been done differently. This could have probably, I felt like when you went to announce this thing, right? Like you knew it was already an issue. If it's becoming a law, it must have been a huge issue. You should have sat there and red taped this entire announcement before you just threw it out there. You should have proofread it like 10 times, gotten people's opinions, and at least try to get it right the first time. But then try to do this and get all these jabs out before the law comes out to try to get back at these people. I feel like that's what you did. And I don't feel like that was the greatest thing that you could have done. Now,
but was Johnny in that meeting? When you had that meeting, did you invite Johnny to the meeting? And was he on the same page? Because it almost feels like there's Prime One and then there's Johnny, and they're on separate pages and they're using the same platform, No,
I agree. Do you guys see a poll in the the chats by any chance?
Yes, I see one out there.
Okay. Oh, I don't see it on my end, but I did put a poll. Yeah. I did put a poll because at the end of the day, the verdict or the jury is going to be you guys, the viewer, and I want you guys to put in there if you feel like they're guilty of going too far or they were justified, so guilty or innocent. And then we'll see where that poll ends at the end of the show, which is going to be in a little bit because we're almost at our mark anyway.
So just to clarify, if they're selecting yes, are they saying they're guilty or they're innocent? Because it's a yes or no. So if you select yes, what does that mean?
They're guilty.
Guilty. Check.
Yes. If you say no, they are innocent.
I feel like there needs to be a third option for both.
There should have, but I don't even know.
I got you.
It's giving me issues here, but but yeah, it's on there. We'll see where it ends, at the end. Now I don't want to be this guy, but I know dude, I got like 20 things up. I'm sorry, but you are that guy because you just did it. All right. Sorry for my grammar. I'm on the same grammar that Johnny's on. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway,
you get the point. Yeah.
Listen, Johnny, I'm not, I'm disappointed. I'm not mad at you. I'm disappointed in you. That makes sense. Third option. You can't handle
it worse.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, this is my final say for this topic. And then I want to ask one more question about it. But at the end of the day, all this shit ruins the hobby. And we are in a time where more and more companies are going out of business and the hobby's just getting less and less and less.
Yeah.
We got rid of Diamond Select, Gentle Giant, Diamond Distributors, Eagle Moss, Figurama's on some shit. I forgot the other companies that went down. There's been about close to 8 to 10 companies that have just been gone. Funko's on a year of what's going to happen at the end of the year, whether they're going to go bankrupt or not, or go away or not, and remember they got Mondo, they got, Loungefly, they got a couple other entities under them. Tweeterhead, another topic that, is a big rabbit hole and probably a different, time for that, but there's a lot of bad things happening. So I don't want to see more of this, guys. No matter how you feel about this, and I'm talking both to the customer, the viewer, and people at Prime One. XM Studios is having issues. LBS at one point was having issues. PCS was having issues. Everybody's having these issues, right? What can we do to make the hobby better? And that's why I like how Adam said, he doesn't even have to come on here. I would love to have him on here because I want to talk to Prime One, period. But like, if you guys just come out and just make a statement like, hey guys, I apologize. It's been a lot. This is what's been going on. Be a little bit more truthful or and I know that sometimes you can't really say a whole lot of things because it compromises other things. But like, we got to
have a conversation about
better.
It. Like what got us there? What? Because you mentioned Tweeterhead for a second, right? And this pretty much is the same subject. Look, Tweeterhead went through a brutal, like they put them on the stake and burned them, right? Mm-hmm. Tweeterhead went through some brutal shit, right? But guess what? Tweeterhead didn't do none of this shit. Tweeterhead actually went on channels and try to explain it. And did they do a great job doing it? Probably not.
It was horrible.
But at least they stepped up and they made the attempt to try to stay professional and say, hey, look, this is kind of what's going on. Was it an excuse? Was it an actual, like, that's a different subject. But my point is that they got burned at the stake basically, and they still didn't have a Johnny that came out and started criticizing everybody and cursing them out. They kind of took it on the chin.
Facts. That is facts right there. That is facts. Because I was about to say, you're damn it, you don't. But
Load Collectibles. Where's it at? I just missed it. He said it perfectly. He said it perfectly right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what one representative of your company does. One.
Mm-hmm.
So
now let me ask you this. I'm going to throw, before I get both of your final thoughts on the whole thing. You got mine already. So I said my piece on that. But before we get to both of your final thoughts, and before we get to the poll, I want to know, let's talk Sideshow a little bit. For me, Sideshow, hands down, for the longest, and I think till this day, has showcased the best customer service out there, in my opinion. Now, some people might say, hey, you have an advantage because you're an influencer, so they probably kind of cater to you. I could see that where they're like, oh shit, it's Toy Quest. I'm gonna make sure this is right. But you guys got to understand too that I have viewers, and a lot of viewers use my code, use my referrals, watch my videos and stuff. And a lot of viewers, and I could show this, so I don't have any problem showing this. You can see my DMs. It ain't a bunch of bitches hitting me up. It's a bunch of viewers and a bunch of collectors. Hey, I had this problem. Can you talk to Marcos? Can you talk to Todd? Can you talk to this person? And I go ahead and I step in because I want to make sure that they're getting the top-notch customer service, especially if I'm trying to, if I'm partnered with you and your company's coming out of my mouth, right? So with that being said, Sideshow, I feel like has the best blueprint of a company as far as customer service goes. They monitor their Facebook groups very well. They nip stuff at the butt. They give people chances. I've seen where they've deleted comments. I've seen where they send you a warning. I've seen where they ban people. I've talked to them through customer service. They have their actual customer service team. They have a team of individuals that are collectors that sit there and kind of just like get you to opening up a file to find a solution because maybe they're closed or maybe because they're trying to like filter in through all these customer service inquiries. But anytime I've talked to them, and I just tell you right now, I had an issue with, I ordered the last issue I had is I ordered the print for Han Solo where he's at the cantina. Love that print. But when it came in, it didn't have the top on it, which I was like, what the hell? Why is the top not on it? Didn't care about that. But when I finally pulled it out, all the long side of the edges were bent, like they were creased. Mm-hmm. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, I really love this piece. And mind you, I didn't pay crap for it. I think I had credits and all this stuff. I think I paid $30 for it, right? But they replied, hey, Miguel, listen, we don't have this in stock anymore. What I could do is give you your full money back, or, we could go ahead and give you like a $10 credit. This sold out already. We only had a limited amount of time of things. I know you really want this piece. It's up to you. And then I was like, you know what? They gave me options. I was, you know what? Give me the $10 credit, right? And I'm going to put this in a frame anyway, so you're not really going to see the creases. So I kept it. You know, I've had an issue. The only statue I ever fully returned in my entire time of collecting was the, what the hell? Hold on. Was the Hawk versus Iron Man Hawkbuster. There was a fitting issue with the shoulder and the arm, and I called them up and it's like, I just don't want it. I can't believe this happened. I was so upset. And you know what they did? They were like, no problem, Miguel. You know, we've never had you return anything like that, so we know it's really bothered you. Gave the money back, and then I bought the Ronin from PCS, which was twice as much, right? So
did you curse them out?
Say it again?
Did you curse them out?
No, I didn't curse them out at all.
Did you bash them online?
No, at all. I mean, I told them how I felt about the piece not working, but I didn't do any of that. But my point is, because they were so nice and let me return it, they weren't expecting me to buy something else. I never mentioned that. I just said I wanted to return it. They just got more money out of me because I bought something that was more money using the you know what I mean? So there was a return on investment for being nice as customer service. But I feel like their customer service has always been on point. And although they might not be able to get you fully exactly what you want as far as what you might expect in return, they give you options. They're very nice about it. And I could tell you right now, there's about 2 or 3 customer service reps that I know by name, because that's how nice and good they are. And they for some reason, they always follow back too, like, hey, just making sure you're okay, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for being a customer, all this and that. So in your experience, Adam and K-Fett, how do you think Sideshow is compared to other companies as far as customer service? And do you think that is the goal for every company to follow? Is that the golden standard of customer service in our hobby? And we'll go with Adam. Go ahead.
Okay. So Sideshow is like, I kind of look at them as like the Chick-fil-A of restaurants, right? Think about this for a second.
That's so good. All I had to say was that. I went to this tangent. That's all I had to say. Jesus Christ.
Right. But doesn't it make sense? You know exactly what I mean by when I say that. Listen, I could go to McDonald's and you say, I want this, this, and this, and you'll get a totally different meal. They'll give you some cold ass fries and smack you on the butt and tell you to go the fuck home.
Yeah,
right.
Milkshake machines down.
But you almost expect that, right? Which is fucked up. You expect that from them, right? But then Chick-fil-A, you got these teenage kids that have no work experience whatsoever, but they've built this ecosystem of good customer service. And what do they always say when you go there?
My pleasure.
My pleasure. Yeah.
My pleasure. Right? That little thing, and smiling, and well, it also helps that they pay their employees pretty well too. That's another big thing. Yeah. But that's how I kind of look at Sideshow. Now, I want to give a flower to someone when you were mentioning somebody that did something good for you, not just Sideshow, but Sideshow is like the opposite, like is the extreme end of just really good customer service, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you say good customer service in the statue community, we think of Sideshow. That's what most collectors that have been collecting for a little while are going to say, right? And Adams, I don't have a big statue I don't have a big statue channel or a big channel like Miguel does. Like he's got, I think it's like 180,000 or 170,000, whatever, subscribers, right? And Adams, we known each other a little bit just by going on little like live shows or whatever. I sold my house in Savannah, Georgia, and I moved up to the Philadelphia area in a suburb out here, right? And I had ordered a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle statue. I don't know. This happened a while ago. I don't know if K-Fett remembers, but it happened a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the mistake. I didn't change the address from my old house to up where I was at. I did it too late. I said, fuck, I fucked this up or whatever.
I remember my first day.
Yeah. I just had a lot of shit going on. The statue
I know,
but like so I contacted one of Aunt Adams' guys, right? It was customer service, whatever. I gave him the information. I said, look, it looks like the statue has not shipped yet. Can you please change it to this address? It didn't happen still. I send them 2 messages. Little mess up there, right? Later on, I got a message from Aunt Adams because the statue ended up getting delivered after I sent the message to not deliver it there, right? Aunt Adams reached out to me. Now, he doesn't know me as well as like maybe he says like Miguel or other people. Like we've talked a little bit, but nothing. Like he talks to a lot of people. Like I'm a nobody, right? Compared to him. So as far as like just knowing me, he had contacted me and he had said, hey, listen, I know the statue went to the wrong place. I just wanted to reach out to you personally to let you know I'll send you the label. So if you get in touch with the people who bought your house, I'll pay for the shipping so it can go up to you because my guy didn't change the address in time before it shipped. That's what Aunt Adam said to me.
Yeah. Nice.
That's awesome.
He said, and if the statue is lost, I'll even go so far to give you I think he said, I'll give you mine. I don't know if that was his prototype or whatever. I'm telling you, I still got it in my chat. He probably doesn't even remember this. He said that he would give me his Teenage Mutant. I think it was, I can't remember which statue it was. One of the turtles. Anyway, I ended up getting the label. The people I got in touch with them that bought my house, and they sent it up to me. Like the guy shipped it to me. He paid for the label and everything. I had a friend go pick it up and he shipped it to me. But that's another example of not just Sideshow. Sideshow does a great job. Always done a great job. But Aunt Adams went out now, but here's the thing. Let me ask you both a question. Has Aunt Adams ever got trashed online?
All the time.
Has he got butchered and burnt at the stake a couple times and just fucking filleted?
Yeah.
And look how he handled it. Now
he's handled it pretty well, but I've also seen him.
I've also seen sometimes where but listen,
yeah,
we're human. It happens. You can take but so much bashing sometimes until you know what I mean?
He's also the owner. So it's like not that gives it any like favoritism, but like he's not some random guy working for the company then talking crap, right?
Right.
But I don't believe also that not everybody's perfect. I'm sure Sideshow has horror stories too. Yeah. But I do agree that, and I've seen it myself. And listen, I've been upset at Adams, and he's known it. And I've also been very, pleased with some of the things that he's done. So like I've seen both sides of Adam, and for the most part, PCS is up there as well. I love their company. I have a lot of their products. I buy a lot of their products, and I'm very tight with Adams. They've never promoted me. They've never sponsored me. They've never given me free shit, nothing like that. And we still have a really good relationship. So, Adam he's good. And, just like every other company, they're trying to overcome hurdles and obstacles as they grow. So, but, yeah.
The point is the attempt, right? The attempt to say, hey, look, after all the bashing and everything I've taken, I'm going to still try to make this right. I'm going to still try to ship you your statue. I'm going to try to make it right for you. My guy fucked up. Let me send this out to you. Take it on the chin and you keep rocking. But at the same time, I've also seen him take it on the chin so many times where he's just like, look, I got to take your shit. That's his right as a customer. That's his right as a company. He doesn't have to sell a statue to you if he doesn't want to. But anyway, that's my point.
No, I agree. So let's get our final thought before we end the poll and all that stuff, guys. If you haven't done anything with the poll yet, go ahead. But let's get our final thoughts on this. I'll go with K-Fett first. K-Fett, what is your final verdict on all this? Your final opinion on everything as a nutshell? Give it to us.
So I would say Prime One Studio as a company, I would go not guilty. I think they're innocent. But again, as we've kind of talked this, where it goes over a little bit, where you get a little bit more questionable, is when employees from Prime One are engaging with the audience, with the consumer, without probably getting properly educated by their communication team or something like that, and just going down to that level. I think this whole law and everything that's getting implemented maybe on the Japan side, I don't think it's enough of a concern for the actual consumer, because deep down, I like to think most of us are somewhat decent and we're not all just calling in and ripping people apart. If you go in and you rip someone apart, you probably you shouldn't be surprised that something like this is going to happen, that they're going to be like, hey, we're just not going to service you anymore, whatever. But overall, I don't think Prime One Studio is at fault. As I said earlier, I like the idea that at some level they are trying to protect some of their employees. They are trying to build a good work environment. These people don't get paid enough to get ragged on and chewed out and all that and deal with some of this stuff. Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, we're at overstepped, and there might be some coaching opportunities if we're going to keep it more in corporate speak. That would be right here with what Johnny was commenting to the rest of them. And you can read the frustration here, and that's where you might want to back that off. You might want to pull your staff in and go, look, we're addressing this. We're trying to take care of you guys. Do not go down to this level, because then we lose all high ground that we've ever given. And every single person at that company represents the brand. So whether they're going out alone or whatever, they're still representing the brand, and they have to remember that. So that's the area where I'm like, this was a little too far, and why I can see some people getting worked up over these comments from Johnny.
Nice. Well said.
Perfectly said.
What does it say? I'm not concerned at all. Prime One's new policy. I'm more concerned about their shipping fees. Yo, bro.
That's been like that since the beginning of statute time.
That's another court appearance for us, because that's the first thing I led with when I opened the video. I was like, bro, their shipping fees. I can't.
That's a different case.
That's a whole different case. Adam, real quick, let's get your final thought on the entire.
K-Fett said it perfectly. I mean, the only thing I would maybe differ just a tad bit is I do believe that Prime One is, overall, for the most part, they've always done me right, from my personal experience. Are they perfect? No. I love the work that they do. At the same time, I don't think they're guilty as a company, but somewhat a little, can you be a little guilty? I don't know. You're either guilty or not, but you do have to take accountability for your employees that represent you and are coming out unprofessional using this kind of language to, even if it was used with them, there's different ways to handle it. And if you're not pulling back one of your employees, like K-Fett said, and coaching them through this, then yeah, it does make you guilty in a way. If you're not kind of, wheeling this guy back in and saying, hey, look, let's slow it up a little bit. And let's take a different approach, because this isn't working. It's making it worse. Yeah,
that was well said too. Do you think that they are, and then I'll say my final thought, but do you think that there's a possibility of them hiding behind this policy some of the things that they are not doing correctly, as far as like shipping or like delays or cancellations or keeping NRDs, things like that? Do you think that
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Listen, I don't think that they would come out with something like this if it wasn't a problem, because you're putting your company a little bit at risk when you're doing stuff like this. When you have to bring up stuff that is directly to customers and saying, hey, we're not treating each other right, or you're not treating me right, it must have been a big enough problem that we can't see, because we're not sitting on the other side of their computer and getting all these messages, right?
Yeah.
Statutes break all the time, guys.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you guys, if you're new collectors, right? If you're coming into the collecting world, you have to accept that sometimes you're going to get a statute that breaks, and there are no replacements. It's going to happen. You're not going to get replacements for everything. The amount of effort that goes into replacing parts that they can't anticipate that breaks is a lot. You got to go back to a factory. You got to do another mold, but just for that piece, you're not creating a whole new statue. It's got to go back to paint. You got to wait because there was other breakages. They got to do different molds. It's a lot. So you have to accept this going into the statue world. You're not going to get a perfect statue every time. You're just not. And that's a risk that you take as a buyer, and the risk that they take shipping it to you, that they get negative feedback. It's a risk on both sides.
And can I also add that before this policy, guys, I don't know if people were oblivious to this, but they don't have to take you as a customer. Period.
No, you can
100%.
deny service to anybody you want.
Yeah.
What the hell are we talking about? If you, like I keep saying, if I walk into K-Fett store acting and showing my ass, he's going to say, get the fuck out. He might not say it that way. I know he won't say it that way because K-Fett's more professional probably than me, but he would say, look, go to the guy down the street. I think that I'm just not doing a good enough job servicing you, and you might have better luck down the street. That's a nice way of saying, I'm not fucking serving you. Get the fuck out. You know?
Yeah. That's true. What's up? Is that Ram? Is that Ramo? When people change their names, I'm like, what the heck? I think that's Ramo. What's up, bro? Your Vision's here too. What's up, Your Vision? Which I know he's been vocal about a couple things.
Yep.
Listen, all that's very well said. My 2 cents with it is, like I mentioned before, I just think this destroys the hobby, period. You know, whether it's the people badgering and doing things for clicks and views or just to get attention. And people like, unfortunately, our boy Johnny here from Prime One, who kind of just answered the wrong way. You know, it just doesn't look good. So do I feel like Prime One Studios is innocent when it comes to this communication and this policy that they're having because of the law? I feel like they are innocent. I feel like they're guilty when it comes to the reaction and the feedback that they got from our boy Johnny. And like I said, I feel like they should have sat down and really made sure they, you know, cross their I's and dot their T's or whatever, however it is, cross their T's and dot their I's and make sure that the communication was done flawlessly the first time, because that whole going back and, hey, let me just clarify that you're kind of admitting to something you did wrong. And then Johnny kind of throwing the jabs in before October.
You sound more guilty.
Yeah, you sound more guilty, right? So again, the object of this show and particular segments where which you're going to have, you know, the collectors court going forward is for us to have dialogue like this. You know, thank you to those who are with us on what's today? Wednesday? I don't even know what today is. Tuesday? What's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday night. This is a pop-up show. You know, we all work. You know, I haven't been doing Collectors Assemble Live the past 3 weeks because I'm in Philly or doing something. But the idea is to talk about this in a positive way, see both sides of the story, see where things are going, you know, wrong and right, seeing what the chats have to say, which all of you guys have been engaging. I love it. And at the end of the day, you guys are the ones who do the verdict. Now, I probably messed up this what do you call it? This poll, because I put, is Prime One Studios guilty or innocent of their actions? And guilty means yes, non-guilty means no, or innocent means no. As far as, you know, that they have the right to do it like this, I guess. But I think some collectors need to chill and be respectful. Of the same time, Johnny sometimes responds are disrespectful. Yeah, that's what we said. The biggest thing that I said was Johnny was literally doing the same thing to us that people were doing to him. Like, you're breaking your own law, you know? But we wanted to put the facts out there. We wanted to make sure, because I don't think a lot of people knew that this was a law. I think that they think that Prime One Studios took this and, you know, took it out of their ass. It was like, oh, we're going to stick it to these guys. This is a law in Japan, and they had to post this. And unfortunately, the way it got taken out of context and the way they replied to it and responded to it and posted it, they didn't do a very good job doing it. And that's where I feel like the retaliation and stuff came back. But again, on today's show, you know, we went over the facts, we went over opinions, we discussed it, we got the views, we got the screenshots, we got everything that's publicly out there. And, you know, I don't know what I'm voting. So basically, is Prime One Studios guilty or innocent? Yes or no? Well, if you didn't see the whole show, you probably shouldn't vote because you're not gonna know. But anyway,
did anybody ever answer, like, who is Johnny? I think this is a very important Like, what is his
I should
title?
put another poll up. Who's Johnny?
Does anybody know in the chat who Johnny is to Prime One? Like, is he is he like a, what am I trying to say here, K-Fett? Like a marketing
admin
representative
or marketing or
Yeah.
what position does he have? We know it's a high one. I can tell you that. We know it's a high position.
Clearly, because he has access to speak on Prime One's behalf.
Yeah. Well, and he also says, as far as me running this, you might as well fire me because I'm not gonna do what other companies are doing.
That's crazy. That
Yeah.
part's
When
crazy.
he said that, I was like, oh shit. So it'd be funny if Johnny just popped up in the comments and be like, guys, I'm like, oh, shit.
Listen, he shouldn't feel intimidated by trying. Obviously, he doesn't. He should really just have. I would just love to have just a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Because at the same
Yeah.
time, like, you know, not to take his side. We've been kind of playing devil's advocate on both sides, but people get frustrated. People get frustrated. Like, you know what? Enough's enough. And if I have a feeling that Johnny might come on here and be like, you guys don't even know half the shit I've been dealing with.
Yeah,
But
that could be a possibility too.
Again, not the way to handle it, in my opinion.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we all could agree on something, guys, and that's that your shipping prices are fucking ridiculous. Prime One Studio. So please, if you get anything from this video aside from being maybe a little nicer, oh wait, Google said, all right, Renz. Google said that Johnny Matsumoto, also known as Johnny Matsumoto Fam, is a creative director at Prime One Studios, a leading manufacturer of high-end luxury collectible statues. So he's the creative director. So he is what Danny Bell is to Sideshow.
Yeah, he's not even an executive. That makes me cringe even more. Someone definitely needs to pull him aside a little bit and go,
wow.
Be careful
Thank you
here,
for looking
Johnny.
that up. Yeah. Wow.
Renz, my guy, all the way from
If this is accurate.
overseas, the
If
Philippines.
this is accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he could, I don't know, this could have been posted when he has moved into a different position. You don't know when he moved into that position, whatever.
Yeah. Was this in his shit? What do you call that?
Right, you just got a super chat.
Wow,
What?
Damn, Lord.
God, Lord, you gotta stop. Listen,
Hey.
Lord.
Hello.
Lord is my guy, dude. So I gotta get a
I
video,
want to help with your bond.
dude.
Wow.
I gotta get a video clip just for Lord when he does something. Have somebody going, Lord Jesus. I got a super
Lord.
chat. If you don't win your case in court representing yourself, I want to help with your bond. I love him. Listen, he donated $100 for Autism Awareness Month, and we gave it to Chad Elf's daughter, who actually placed in the Special Olympics, by the way. She did place for the Special Olympics during that month. So, Lord, you didn't have to do that. Thank you again, brother. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I know that I have people to bail me out of jail if I ever go to it. But dude, you didn't have to do that. I really appreciate that, bud. I love Lord. He's the man. Check out his channel too, guys. It's freaking awesome.
50 more plugs like that, and you could pay for your shipping from Prime One again. You'd be set.
Yo, for real.
Hey,
Guys,
you know what the best way to handle something like this, if you don't like the statues or the way they're handling what they're doing, not the statues, but how they're handling things, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. That's the
True.
best way to show your disdain for something like that. Just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Go look for a different company. But
Now
hopefully
guys,
it doesn't come to that, because I think Prime One's a good. Like, I know we just went through all this stuff, but I still think Prime One's a good company. That's just
I
my
think they're
opinion.
one of the best as far as like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, like and I hope Prime One doesn't take this in any sort of way. I hope I'm still in the group.
If not, we're going.
I don't
through
have to
Sideshow.
be. I could care less. I'll just go through Sideshow, right? But yeah, respect to you guys. But we're calling it how it is. Hopefully you don't take that in a bad way. And if you do, then I guess the verdict.
Then
might
don't
be
have a company if you
overturned.
can't take constructive criticism.
We might have to come in here and appeal our decision and overturn the ruling if that does happen. But guys, so I'm gonna end this poll real quick, and of course it's 50-50, which is kind of what we said anyway ourselves, right? Like we were kind of like, there are certain things that were done and it's split. But I wanted to share with you guys these stupid little videos I made that are eventually going to be towards the end of our videos, where the viewers, our jury, decides the verdict. So here's one.
That is awesome.
Which is stupid. And then here's the other one. Hold on.
Bro, I'm telling you, this should be a segment. Like, this should be. I like this better than the regular statue chats because a lot of there's a lot of really good channels out there, but it kind of gets like recycled information. This is good, constructive. Like, I like this.
Yeah, I always wanted to do this, man. Like I said in the beginning of the show, this was an idea that I've had for a while that I wanted to do because I don't really like talking about drama. Because I don't like talking about it the way other people like talking about it. I like getting down to the facts, seeing where both sides are, and kind of being truthful about both our opinions and if whether people went too far or So again, the whole thing it's called the Collector's Court. Toy Quest 101 Toy Quest 101 Collector's Court, and my motto is right here, guys. Let me see if I could take this off, but it says, oh shit, hold on, no, I can't do that. Let me see, hold on, let me kick these guys out real quick. No, I won't do it either. Anyway, my motto is Collector's Court, where the hobby holds the truth, guilty of being innocent. Yes,
I like it.
Solid.
Collector's Court, where the hobby holds the truth. That is the name of our. As a matter of fact, I got a picture right here. I'll show you guys.
You're not adding to the drama, though. This is good, healthy conversation. You know what I mean?
My thing is, oh wait, how do I? Oh, I can't show this, I guess. Oh,
I love
my
the background too. The background,
yeah, that's
awesome.
I don't know. I was trying to I'm gonna remove everybody real quick so you guys can look at the background, but don't think that we left. Hold on, let me take this out. Hold on, I'm gonna remove everybody real quick. Ready? So I hope you guys saw that. You see all the Batman stuff and my big ass head.
Oh, that's awesome. You should do it where we have the conversation, we look at both sides, and then you're the judge. You just wear your what do they call those things? The robe,
gown,
or whatever. The gown.
Well, this is kind of a fake gown, but but yeah, man, I don't know. And yeah, let's just take a look at this. Hopefully, we see K-Fett more in our regular show on Fridays nights, and eventually I might just be like, yo, let's just do a tour of that right there. Cause there's so much things in there that just look great. Awesome collective. You guys don't know him. He's super busy too, but obviously you guys always have a home on my channel. If you guys ever want to do something yourselves too, be my guest, doesn't matter. Any ideas you want to do, that's cool too. It's free. Toy Quest 101, just practicing. Jesus Christ, you guys, I'm already ready getting blamed for. I'm about to get thrown in jail.
He's
you
the
guys,
judge.
I'm the judge, guy. I'm not like the
he's not the defendant.
Right, I'm on the other side, guys. I'm E-Man, you're late. It was a good show. You got to watch it. We're only 40 minutes behind schedule, but it was good. I really enjoyed this, guys. So again, guys, thank you everybody in the chats. Let me find my Akon CD. What the fuck? Joker bust. I agree. Everybody wants this damn Joker bust. By the way, I don't know if that Batman's gonna come out, which I'm really disappointed at. I fucking hate you guys. Listen, I appreciate everybody in the chats coming in with us on a Tuesday night, not normally scheduled. K-Fett, thank you so much, my guy, for coming on. We haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for being on our inaugural.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a blast.
Of course, brother. Appreciate you. Very good feedback from a solid collector and businessman himself. Adam, thank you, brother. Appreciate you too. I know we kind of went off on a tangent last night. We're like, let's just do it, right? Those are the best. No plans, no nothing. We just did it. And we got to spend some time at Philly Comic-Con, which was fun. I got to meet your kids and we walked around, and
thanks for showing me around
and stuff. It was really cool. But Judge Mathis and Judy, watch out. Are they done? They're not done. They're done, right?
Bro, I used to love Judge Judy. It got a little stupid towards the end, but I used to love the old Judge Judy.
Bro, there's a lady in that on the Spanish channel that she went off on some girl for talking English. And
English,
she was like,
I saw it. Yeah,
Here we talk Spanish.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't talk that English.
She started
shit."
speaking English in the beginning.
Yo,
yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot her name, but yeah, man. But listen, guys, we're gonna try to do a Collectors Assemble live. It cannot be Friday because I have something to do. I'm probably gonna do a off show for Collectors Assemble live, maybe Sunday. I don't know yet. Guys, look out for my TikTok shop. You guys know I've been busting out these shirts. That Spawn shirt and the Red Hood shirt are gone. No more. So if you guys bought them, cool. If not, I'm sorry. I just threw out that Cyclops X-Men 97 one where it says, "Come to me, my X-Men." That shit is dope. It's probably one of my favorite shirts right now. It might have even possibly, I don't know. Yeah, I still like the Spawn being my favorite one. I got a Marvel licensed one with X Factor and X-Men together, which you never see ever. So that's cool. And then I got the James Bond one, handing the Nintendo 64 controller from 007. And then I got the Invincible one, which that video is going to come out tomorrow, guys. But anyway, do you guys have anything going on for any shows or anything that you guys want to talk or announce? K-Fett?
Nope. I'll be in the chat on constructive outrage, just heckling the guys. So I'll catch up with everyone else on Thursday night there.
Let's go. And Adam, what about you, bud?
Just work, and I've been I was flying I busted out my drone today. I've been doing a lot of flying of my drone, my little DJI drone. So
let's go.
But yeah, just working and working on the business and spending time with family.
Hey,
but I appreciate you inviting me. This was nice.
Oh, of course, bro. This is awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on another. Again, these are going to be pop-up shows, so they're not going to have a actual day set for these, like Collectors Assemble Live. So these will be far and few, depending on what's out there. Thank you again, Lord Collectibles, for that $50 super chat. Everybody in the chats, appreciate you guys. Be safe, and remember, guys, have fun out there. Collect what you love, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Collectors Court, my friends. Peace. All right.